بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولأبي حنيفة رحمة الله عليه أن الخلا ينبئ عن الفصل. Imam Hanifa rahmatullah is dalil now. What is dalil for what? To show that khula, just like mubara'ah, will just drop off all the rights which the spouses have on one another, which are connected with the nikah, right? So Imam Hanifa rahmatullah says that khula informs about separating. وَمِنْهُ خُلْعُ النَّعْلِ, and from it comes removal of the shoes. You separate the shoes from the feet. وَخُلْعُ الْعَمَلِ, and that is separate the work from the worker, right? You dismiss him. Right, وَمُطْلَقٌ, and it is general. كَالْمُبَارَةِ, just like mubara'ah is also general. However, فَيَعْمَلُ بِإِطْلَاقِهِمَا فِي النِّكَاحِ وَأَحْكَامِهِ وَحُقُوقِهِ. So it will work with their generality, only in nikah and the laws of nikah and the rights of nikah. So it will apply to nikah only, and all the rights got to do with nikah, not other rights. You understand it? Right. وَمَنْ خَلَى عِبْنَتَهُ وَهِيَ صَغِيرَةٌ بِمَالِهَا لَمْ يَجُزْ عَلَيْهَا. Whoever makes khula of his for his daughter while she is small with her money, then it's not permissible against her. The father now wants to get his daughter out of this man's marriage, and she's small, but he's making khula, but he's using her money. لِأَنَّهُ لَا نَظْرَ لَهَا فِيهِ, because there's no compassion and no looking out for her in this. You're not doing any favor to her. You're decreasing her money. You understand it? إِذِ الْبُضْعُ فِي حَالَةِ الْخُرُوجِ غَيْرُ مُتَقَوَّمٍ, because the Buddha in the situation of it coming out of the nikah is not something of value, right? Well, badlu muttaqawwamun, and the money they're giving is something of value. So they're giving something of value in exchange of something which is of no value. So therefore, that's a loss to the small girl. Obviously, the father does from his own money, then it's not a question. Then there's no question about that, right? But when he uses her money, right? بخلاف النكاح لأن البضع متقوم عند الدخول. Contrary to nikah now, because the Buddha is something of value at the time of entering into ownership. Now, contrary to a situation where he gets his small boy married to a girl, and now he pays the meher of that small boy from the small boy's money, then that will be valid. Why? Because they're giving money in exchange of something mutaqawwam. You got that now. وَلِهَذَا يُعْتَبَرُ قُلْءُ الْمَرِيضَةِ مِنَ الثُّلُثِ. Right. And for this reason, right, since khula, right, is giving money in exchange of nothing, something of non-value. You're giving something of value in exchange of غير متقوم, then therefore the khula of a sick woman will only be considered from 1/3 of the wealth. You understand what comes out from 1/3 is your wasiyat. Give to this madrasa, give here, send somebody to make hajj. You understand it? So it comes out from 1/3. So likewise, this khula of a sick woman will only be considered from 1/3 of the wealth. If it owes a khula, it will only be paid from 1/3 of the wealth and not from the total wealth. وَنِكَاحُ الْمَرِيضِ بِمَهْرِ الْمِثْلِ مِنْ جَمِيعِ الْمَالِ. Whereas a man who's on his deathbed, he got married now, right? He got married. Then then he died. Got married and he died. So this woman got thrown in, right? So the nikah of the marriage with the meher misal is from the entire wealth. She must be paid first from the entire wealth before the heirs can even get anything. You saw the difference. For the khula of the sick woman, they only took from 1/3, not tramping onto the heirs' rights. But for the meher of the sick man, because he's paying for something with the qawam, so therefore it's a valid debt, and therefore it gets taken out from the entire wealth. وَإِذَا لَمْ يَجُزْ لَا يَسْقُطُ الْمَهْرُ. So when this is not permissible now, in other words, for the father to do this here with his small daughter, right? Then the meher doesn't drop off from the husband. He must still pay his meher. وَلَا يَسْتَحِقُّ مَالَهَا, and he doesn't deserve her wealth now. Doesn't deserve her wealth, because we said the father can't do this from her wealth. So he can't expect to get her money, right? Now what happens now? But nevertheless, ثُمَّ يَقَعُ الطَّلَاقُ فِي رِوَايَةٍ وَفِي رِوَايَةٍ لَا يَقَعُ. then talaq will occur in one riwayat, and in one riwayat the talaq will not occur now. Just remember, the husband is doing khula now, but he's not going to get any money. So now does talaq occur or not? There's two riwayats there, right? وَالْأَوَّلُ أَصَحُّ, and the first qawl is more correct, what the talaq will occur. لِأَنَّهُ تَعْلِيكُمْ بِشَرْطِ قُبُولِهِ, because this is a suspension with the condition of his acceptance. In other words, that's when he made the khula, she offered the khula, the father offered the khula to the husband, and then he accepted. So the khula was valid. You understand it? فَيُعْتَبَرُ بِالتَّعْلِيقِ بِسَائِرِ الشُّرُوطِ. So it will be considered with a suspension with all other shurut. Just as if we to make, so just as in others, it's ta'liq on the husband's acceptance. So therefore the talaq will fall, right? Just like how you do any other ta'liq. For example, if the husband says, if you enter the house, you are divorced, the talaq will fall. You understand it? وإن خال على ألف على أنه ضامن فالخلع واقع والألف على الأب. And if you made khula with her upon 1,000, upon this condition, that the father is responsible for the money. Now, I'm not going to take it from the daughter's money, but the father is going to say he's going to be responsible. Then a khula will occur, and 1,000 is upon the father. لأن اشتراط بدل الخلع على الأجنبي صحيح فعلى الأب أولى. Because making the condition of the badal of the khula upon a strange person, man, is correct. So upon the father to a greater extent. You understand it? If you say now, for example, I make khula with you, the wife offers the husband khula, right? But so and so will pay you. He's responsible to pay you. Third person, a stranger, and the husband agrees. Then he can't fight now with the wife. Now he must go and collect his money from that man. You understand it, right? So if that will be correct, then the father taking that responsibility to a great extent, it will be correct. وَلَا يَسْكُتُ مَهْرُهَا, and her meher doesn't drop off, however, still, right? Remember, you must remember when they're doing this khula thing now, right? Then they're saying that all the hukuk is dropping off. All hukuk. So the outstanding meher, everything, we're calling it quits. Or everything that's got to do with nikah. You understand it? But in this case here, they say, وَلَا يَسْكُتُ مَهْرُهَا. Meher will still not drop off. لِأَنَّهُ لَمْ يَدْخُلْ تَحْتَ وِلَايَةِ الْأَبِّ. Because the meher doesn't enter under the authority of the father. That is the girl's right. Right. وَإِنْ شَرَطَ الْأَلْفَ عَلَيْهَا توقف على قبولها إن كانت من أهل القبول فإن قبلت وقع الطلاق. Right. Then if the husband made a condition that 1,000 is binding upon the small girl now, he said, I make khula, but you must pay the 1,000. Who? The small girl must pay the 1,000. So this khula will be pending upon her accepting it if she is from those who can accept. So she's small, but she understands what's happening. She is small, she's nabali, but she understands what's happening here. She's getting her freedom and she has to pay money. Right. فَإِنْ قَبِلَتْ وَقَعَتْ طَلَاقُ. So if she accepts, then the talaq occur لِوُجُودِ الشَّرْط, because the shart was found, right? However, وَلَا يَجِبُ الْمَالُ. However, she don't have to pay. Mal doesn't become wajib. لِأَنَّهَا لَيْسَتْ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْغَرَامَةِ. Because she is not from those who can take debts. Those that can take money, incur debts on herself. You understand it? She's not from Ahlul Gharama. Right. Now say in the same scenario now, instead of what the husband said, he addressed her and he wanted to make the khula pending on her acceptance. In that scenario, فَإِنْ قَبِلَهُ الْأَبُ عَنْهَا فَفِي رِوَايَتَانِ. If the father accepts it on behalf of her, then there they say there's two riwayats there. فَفِي رِوَايَةٍ يَصِحُ. Right, لأن هذا نفع محزون. One riwayat says correct because this is pure nafa for the girl. She comes out of this man's nikah, right? فصح من الأب, right? وفي رواية لا لأن هذا قبول معنى قبول يمين, right? And in one riwayat say that will not be correct where the father answers on behalf of her, right? Because that is like an oath, and an oath needs the exacting to happen for the jazat to kick in. You understand it? And in this case, it was addressed to her and not to the father. وَكَذَا إِنْ خَالَعَهَا عَلَى مَهْرِهَا وَلَمْ يَزْمَنِ الْأَبُ المهر توقف على قبولها فإن قبلت طلقت ولا يسقط المهر. Likewise, if you made khula with upon her meher, in other words, he's saying that okay, I made khula with you, a small girl, and your khula will be that I don't have to pay you your meher, right? And the father didn't take responsibility either to pay the meher, then it will be pending upon her acceptance. So if she accepted, she will be divorced. However, ولا يسقط المهر, and in the same scenario, the meher still doesn't fall away, still must be paid, right? وإن قبل أبو عنها ففعل الروايتين. And if the father accepts on behalf of her, then it's upon the same two riwayats that we mentioned now. You understand it, right? وإن زمن الأب المهر وهو ألف درهم طلقت. And if the father takes a responsibility for the meher now, in the same scenario now, the father, so she accepts and the father takes responsibility for the meher, and which is 1,000 dirhams, then she will be divorced. لِوُجُودِ قُبُولِهِ, due to the existence of his acceptance. وَهُوَ الشَّرْط. In this case, the father now, right? The acceptance of the father was the shart, right? وَيَلْزَمُ 500 استحسانا. However, only 500 is become binding upon him استحسانا. والقياس وفي القياس يلزم الأربعين وأصله في الكبيرة إذا اختلعت. And the basis of this is in regards to a big woman إذا اختلعت قبل الدخول على ألف ومهرها ألف. Right. And the basis of this is regards the basis of this particular masla is another masla, which is a big woman when she makes khula before dukhul upon 1,000 and her meher is 1,000. ففي القياس عليها 500 زائدة. Then qiyas will demand that she must pay 500 extra. Right. وفي الاستحسان لا شيء عليها. And istihsan demands there be nothing upon her. لأنه يراد به عادة حاصل ما يلزم لها, because intended what it normally is the outcome of that which is binding for her. So okay, we'll explain this 2 lines tomorrow nicely, that how do they come to this conclusion, what's the difference between qiyas and istihsan. Yeah, right, leave it to me.